much. Hi, I'm Don Hing, founder of Greatwell Marketing Consultancy, a global brand excellence marketing consultancy dedicated to the wellness, lifestyle, healthcare, and hospitality businesses and industries. So right now, I'll move on to our next speaker. Ramanan has served as the first mission director of the Atal Innovation Mission, additional secretary at NITI, Aayog, National Institution for Transforming India, between June 2017 and May 2021, a flagship national innovation and entrepreneurship initiative launched by the PMO, Government of India. Today, he will discuss the topic on contribution of cooperatives to the SDGs. Now, let's welcome Chief Guest Ramanan Ramanathan, former First Mission Director, Atal Innovation Mission, former Additional Secretary at NITI Aayog. So, may I hand over the floor to... Thank you so much.
Good afternoon, everybody, and good evening to from wherever you have logged on. It is indeed a pleasure and a privilege for me to be able to join you all on this particular call and in discussing a very important topic, and the topic being that of sustainability and the role that cooperatives play all across the world in being able to drive global sustainability. In fact, I don't know how many of you are aware that there are over 1 billion people, either as members or as participants or as customers in the cooperative movement of the world. And some of the largest cooperatives together generate more than $1.6 trillion in terms of economy, which is even bigger than the GDP of Spain. More importantly, cooperatives are a different type of organization. In fact, sustainability has been declared and defined as one of the main pillars upon which cooperatives rest. And why is that? Because a cooperative just doesn't look at profit or economy. They look into the well-being of its members. They look into the health of their members. They look at community facilities that are required in order for their members to thrive and to be protected. They look after the interests much beyond the normal interests that drive an enterprise, and that is making money or increasing the economy or increasing the prosperity of that particular organization. And that is why cooperatives have become such a strong force, fundamentally a strong force in being able to drive not just sustainability, but in driving the interests of the world across. And that's why you're seeing initiatives like COP27, you're seeing initiatives like climate change, and you're seeing the initiatives of sustainable development goals that are requiring us to address the triple bottom line. And what is the triple bottom line? As all of you are aware, is not just economic development, it is also social development and societal well-being, as well as environmental well-being. So these are the three things that drive the future of our world, to preserve the planet that we are all in. And cooperatives are in their very DNA. The very DNA of the cooperative is one of autonomy, is one of democracy, is one of delivering services, products, and goods for the people, by the people who are running the cooperative. And that is why in a country like India, where we have more than 1.3 billion people, we have more than 650,000 villages. We have more than 8,000 small towns and cities. And we have only 8 tier 1 cities in which we try to flock to. We have 715 districts, out of which 115 are called aspirational districts because they are at the bottom of the pyramid in terms of basic access to healthcare, education, clean drinking water, sanitation, waste management, and so on. And therefore, the interests and the well-being and the welfare of all these people who are in the non-tier 1 cities, the 8,000 small towns and cities, in the 650,000 villages, who are involved in either in agriculture, or they're involved in fisheries, or in forestry, or in tribal crafts, or in small businesses, and the MSME community, which we call as a micro, small, medium enterprises, their interest is served and represented by the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. We still have 22% of our country in India below the poverty line. And that is, even though our economy has been growing at an astonishing pace of 7.5 to 8% every year, and it is targeted to grow between 8 to 12% in the years ahead. So we have a strong growing economy. But that's not good enough if you want it to be a sustainably growing economy. If you don't want to increase the digital divides, if you don't want to increase the economic divide and the divides between the haves and the have-nots. Like I said, 115 of our districts in India, out of the 715 districts, are called aspirational districts because they are at the bottom of the pyramid. And it is very important, therefore, to be able to represent their interests through cooperatives that look at how we can create and foster the sustainable development goals to be able to meet the needs of the cooperatives and in being able to fashion the working of the cooperatives. Now, as most of you are aware, in the international community, more than 100 million people are employed by cooperatives. And that's a large number. But in a country like India, that number is going to increase even more because we have 1.3 billion people. At the same time, we have many success stories of cooperatives in India, which have been promoting the Sustainable Development Goals. Take, for example, the story of Amul, which is one of the largest cooperatives supporting dairy farmers across the country at a village level, at a state level, at a district level. We have today more than 18,000 members, but more than 3 million dairy farmers whose products are represented and distributed through Amul. Now, what is more important is not only is it creating economic wealth for the poorest of the poor, but it is also ensuring that the rules of the cooperative society ensure equity, gender equality, inclusivity, and health and community facilities for all these poor farmers who are having this only as their means of livelihood and living. Similarly, a great success story is that of IFFCO. IFFCO is the Indian Farmers Fertilizers Cooperative Society, and it has more than 40,000 members. But more importantly, IFFCO represents the interests of various farmers in being able to procure responsibly and consume responsibly the fertilizers that are used in farming. It also protects their interests in terms of rural and cooperative banking and many things related to both the non-credit sector as well as the credit sector. Now, these are outstanding examples of how cooperatives are influencing the implementation of not only the economic interests of all the poor people and the rural tier 2, tier 3 cities and the 650,000 villages that are there in our country, but they're also implementing new guidelines for ensuring that the other aspects of sustainable development goals are being met. And that would be, for example, how do you ensure circular economy? How do you ensure clean drinking water and sanitation? How do you ensure elimination of poverty? How do you ensure gender equality in being able to create women entrepreneurs in our country? In a country like India, we have only 13% women entrepreneurs, whereas 87% are male entrepreneurs, whereas our population is having almost 50% of our population as women. How do we therefore increase women employment, employability, as well as women entrepreneurship through cooperative societies? And that is where cooperative societies play a very important role in being able to implement SDG initiatives through their laws, through their workings, through their autonomy that is being granted to them by their very conceptualization and their structure. And that is true for across the world. Now, it is also important for us to realize that today in a world which is being driven by renewable energies, solar energies, and climate change related actions that are so important to preserve this planet and the future of the next generation. It's very important that large organizations and enterprises and other stakeholders in the system are taking their role seriously in being able to support these cooperatives and to be able to buy products and services that align themselves to these sustainable development goals. Unless there is this collaboration at the state level, at the district level, between the government, between cooperatives, as well as from the large corporates and private sector initiatives that are going on across the world, we will not be able to maintain this balance that is so crucial for meeting the sustainable development goals. And therefore, large corporations have an obligation to be able to not only sustain and grow the workings of these cooperatives, but to align their own goals, their sustainability development goals, along with that of the cooperatives and enable them to make it happen. And for this, today we have the benefit of advanced technology. Technology is becoming affordable, accessible, available, and advanced. Technologies like 3D printing, robotics, IoT, miniaturized electronics, augmented virtual reality, and 5G technologies and communication technologies, as well as supercomputing and nanocomputing technologies, are enabling us to help the poor farmer or the tribal person or in forestry related products or in organic farming and so on. Today in India, we have satellite technologies and 5G communication technologies and the revolution in mobile technologies enabling the farmer in the remotest part of our country, whether they be from the coastal districts of our country, whether they be from the hilly districts of our country, they are able to know the status of the weather, the sort of fertilizing that they have to do in order to improve productivity of their farming, the distribution mechanisms that are available to them and accessible to them through advanced storage mechanisms, and so on and so forth. And how do you convert waste management into wealth management? A whole lot of waste gets generated in the farms, but they do not have the technology today to be able to convert that into wealth. Organic waste management and inorganic waste management and circular economy related innovations are very much important if we have to drive sustainability at the MSME level as well as at the village level and at the district level. And therefore, these cooperative societies can be empowered with the benefit of new technology and affordable and advanced technologies, whether it be in farming, whether it be, for example, in IoT-based water management, clean drinking water and sanitation, or whether it be developing multiple crops in a field in the agriculture area and so on. Robotics can drive the next level of automation that can be immensely beneficial to the farmers in our country. And affordable housing is such an important requirement when we talk about 1.3 billion people. And that is why there are many initiatives in India at the governmental level, and I'm sure across the world, as is being espoused by many countries, to drive innovation, entrepreneurship, startups, and the MSME growth through the leveraging of technology. Technology indeed can be the great leveler, which enables you to bring equitable opportunity to small organizations as well as to large organizations. We have more than 6 crore MSMEs in India, out of which about 600,000 of them are medium and larger enterprises. But these are now leveraging technology to be able to leverage digital reach and enable their products, sustainable products and sustainable services to reach from any part of the country to any other part of the world. From Jodhpur in the west of our country to Japan, or from Salem to Seattle, or from Sikkim to San Francisco. That's the digital reach that is being enabled because of digital technologies. And therefore, there is a tremendous opportunity for all the cooperatives that are supporting these smaller enterprises, the MSME enterprises, and representing the interests of the majority. They have a very important role to play in integrating sustainable development tools, technologies, methodologies, and processes to be able to meet the SDG requirements. I'm sure with initiatives like what GCPIT is doing and the spreading of awareness amongst the many who need this particular knowledge, but to whom now, because of global connectivity, such knowledge is easily accessible, we will be able to make a difference, and the planet will be a much better planet in the years to come for all of us to live in. Thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to share a few thoughts on this occasion.
Very much, Mr. Ramanan. Like always, you not only bring interesting data points and insights, but then the predictions that you bring, and then I would say the business prophecies that you make, right, basis your experience, and being at the helm of NITI Aayog and then leading the innovations across the country. Definitely your words not only inspired us, but gave a sneak peek into what the future would be like. We really want to appreciate from the bottom of our heart. Thank you very much.